And then our last thing to watch this morning also has to do with technology, but in this case, it has to do with chip stocks, which have been flying over the past couple of days. And this really represents a comeback here that we've been seeing for these companies. As you can see, we've got a more mixed picture here this morning, but we saw big increases for many of these stocks in yesterday's session, and also over the past week, we've been seeing a bump here. So, we've had a little bit of talk more broadly that perhaps stocks have hit a near-term low. I can't remember who said it to us that it was a tradable bottom, but
Sylvia Jablonski. Shout out Sylvia. Yep.
Shout out to Sylvia Jablonski. And there you see what I think that one is not one that we meant to pull up. Anyway,
new stock to my list. There we go.
Take it away.
I'll just add this quickly on chips. We saw a big move yesterday, Nvidia up 10%, and that coincided with an almost 7% move higher in Intel. Now, Intel has been struggling, so to see that gain was quite eye-popping. These are two of some of the most active tickers right now on the Yahoo Finance platform, and it is because of this. Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang, who you talked to, Julie, noting yesterday that they are open-minded to using Intel factories to make their chips. This is a huge development for a company like Intel. Pat Gelsinger is putting billions of dollars to work. He's the CEO of Intel, billions of dollars to work to make chips for other companies. Wall Street has questioned every step along this way from Gelsinger. But here is Nvidia, probably one of the most important players in this space, saying they want to use Intel. Effectively, he has justified, Jensen Huang, these investments that Gelsinger is putting in the ground here.
Yeah, and of course, we also had Intel and some of the other chip makers on the Hill this week talking about building up that American capacity, right? That U.S. capacity, even though that's longer term. Are investors finally turning longer term on the likes of an Intel? You and I have talked a lot about this, that these companies and particularly Intel, that Gelsinger, to your point, is making these investments over the long term, and investors haven't wanted to wait. So I don't know if that switches at some point.
Well, what I do think what the street badly missed with a guy like Gelsinger, when he started more than a year ago, he had Intel running through his veins. This was his first gig. So he essentially came back to the company. He was not going to put billions of dollars of capital to work, of Intel's capital to work, if he was not somewhat sure, or if not very sure, this type of demand to make other chips from a company like Nvidia existed. So again, I think his strategy was validated today. I would expect more investments in making chips here, of course, from Intel in the months and quarters ahead.